Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're going to be talking about horror movies for Spooktober. I
You
knew I'd get
promised
it
me
in.
you wouldn't. You promised me.
Got it in there.
We do new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Check out our video section, see what we got. If you like what you see, maybe hit a little subscribe button and you'll get served up some good freshness every Tuesday and Thursday. All the way through Spooktober, apparently.
Spooktober.
Okay, you've had two. That's it. No
Yeah,
more,
that's
please.
all I get.
Oh, puns. So what are we doing for the Halloween month of October?
So, we're talking about horror movies today.
Ooh,
Or tonight.
horror movies. And a little bit of housekeeping. Not a horror guy. Is a horror guy. You can probably tell by looking at us, actually. Right now, for sure. So you're the expert. I'm going to come with stuff that people are going to be like, oh, that's lame. That's not even scary. How can you be scared of Howard the Duck? Watch Howard the Duck. It's freaky.
But that sex scene is scary enough.
Exactly.
Spoilers.
Yeah, duck boobs. Not good. So horror, hit me with it. What is it about horror that you like, and what are we going to do for the folks at home?
It's because I'm dead inside, and the only way that I can feel anything is by being scared. There you go, people. An insight into post. No, that's not true. I really like horror films just because, I don't know, I like scary stuff.
I was just going to segue to end of video and have that be the whole thing.
And that would be terrible.
Scary films are good, but what are we going to do here tonight? We're going to give people a
Yes.
good insight into what you really should be watching. Scary films that you could really do with having seen if you haven't already.
Yeah, we're giving you kind of like a cross section of some really good kind of maybe off the cuff kind of horror films that may not see, too much of the light of day, but are still quite good in their own kind of ways. We're not going to give you something like, terrible.
Yeah, and mine are all going to be pretty weak sauce. So Paul's coming with the heavy hitters, I'd say.
I don't know, you've got some pretty good ones there.
Well, okay, cool. Hey,
Like-
I passed horror muster.
It's pretty good.
So you want to hit somebody? Hit us up with the first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for one that's like has had a legacy going on between us, and it's not Halloween, it's not Nightmare on Elm Street or anything like that. It's actually Jigsaw, which is a soft reboot of the Saw franchise.
Right.
It's a very good film. I really like it. It's not as gory as the other ones.
Oh, okay.
It's like got elements of it, but it's more about the whole trap thing and how the people are going to react to all the traps and stuff.
Okay, and just for all of you out there who are watching this in Europe, anything that we don't mention isn't available on European Netflix is. So unless we say it, you can probably go straight to your Netflix and watch it right now. And Jigsaw is there, and apparently I might have to watch it, even though I'm not that into this sort of thing, because I do remember watching Saw and being stressed by it. Let's put it that way.
The first one.
The first one, yeah.
The first one is
It made me think about what I'd do in that situation, and that's the brilliance of that film. But
let me just say, the first one's a really good one. If you haven't watched this, because you probably thought it was over like it, the first one's like the least goriest one of them all.
Yeah.
And it's more about it's a more psychological kind of horror thing. That's like. The franchise goes weird, really gory, kind of hostile, gory kind of thing after that.
So that's why they've gone with a soft reboot for Jigsaw. Then I take it. Is it back to the psychological style?
It still does the games section that it does with all the further ones, but it is still low gory, but it's not as gory as some of them. But it's still interesting, intriguing kind of psychological stuff.
Cool. You want me to fire one in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, my top pick straight away was very, very easy for this. I was like, Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods was one of my favourite cinema experiences going to see a horror film. I don't even know if I'd class it as horror all the time, but it definitely has all the elements, so I know it qualifies.
I say like horror satire kind of thing,
Exactly, which if you haven't seen the film, watch the film. It plays on all the horror tropes, but really does, uses them to the extent, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, it uses them to the extent that it is the story almost. You're going to laugh. You are going to have jump scares. There is tension. But I think it's almost a lovely love letter to horror films, while also being hilariously funny and really well put together by Joss Whedon, I believe wasn't it? The man who's done nothing good except for everything he's ever done.
I think he did Cabin in the Woods just before he did the Avengers film.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think it was he started filming Avengers just after.
The timeline would add up for sure.
So
yeah, that man has genius fallen out of him, and he gave horror a go. You got to check it out. It's brilliant.
I'm going to choose the great film about ghosts and stuff like that, The Woman in Black.
Is that Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, of Harry Potter fame?
Yes, it is, yeah.
I intended on watching that actually back when he was doing the press for it, because it looked like it was my kind of thing, real spooky, not horror kind of ooh, but horror kind of ooh, what's going on?
It's more, yeah, it is more like ghosty, spooktacular kind of thing.
Spooktacular. He's gonna keep sticking that in there.
No, it's a ghost story. I actually watched this for the first time when I went to Edinburgh, the most haunted city in Europe.
Oh.
And we were on a tour and they talked about The Woman in Black and stuff, and I was just like, oh yeah, that play, that seems like really, really good. So I went and watched it with my girlfriend. It is a very spooky film.
Oh, cool. And it sounds like you saw it in the right place. Edinburgh, if you're out there and you're watching, you're wonderful, by the way. We both love Edinburgh.
It's great.
Yeah, and Edinburgh, I know you're not a person, but anybody from there, you represent. My turn. This is one of those not on Netflix. Was on Netflix, I think. Is on Netflix in America. Not technically a film because it's a multi-part mini-series thing, so I stretched it a little bit. Salem's Lot. The reason I had to bring this up is because it scared the living crap out of me as a child. It literally formed part of my childhood. I grew up by the sea. I was very, very lucky. I had waves outside my window.
Oh no!
I had amazing open view. Then I watched Salem's Lot with my older brother, who scared the crap out of me in the dark. Now I was like 6 when I watched this, and you should not be 6 when you watch Salem's Lot. I know, and because there's a scene in it that we're going to show right here. Lots of scenes, in fact, where people, while you're in bed, vampires come tapping on your window, and one of them happened to be a young kid that looked like a friend of mine. Yeah, from that moment till now, when I'm in a room and I go to sleep, I pull the curtains or pull down the blind. I don't actually sleep with being able to see out windows anymore.
Oh.
So yeah, psychologically scarring. So a recommendation for you all. If you're a 6-year-old and you're watching this, you probably shouldn't. Apologies if we've cursed. But also don't watch Salem's Lot until you're at least 8, okay?
Or watch us and then get, these, like, I guess... No, actually don't watch it.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, very quickly on Salem's Lot, it is a classic. If you love Starsky and Hutch, you'll recognise half the cast, weirdly. But also, you've got English gentleman whose name has just dropped out of my head with a great, great, great voice, playing the creepy kind of manservant to the master. He's just so...
John.
He's atypical. Oh, damn it. There he is on screen and his name. He's just the perfect kind of... Yes, creepy Englishman is speaking now. This is spooky.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He gave me the Wiggins.
What was his name? Yeah, it is up there. So the next one I have...
James Mason. Sorry.
James Mason. Do you want to say that again?
No, it's all right. There you go. Let's leave all this in. This is our process where I knew it before we started recording and forgot it while we were recording.
Literally looked it up 5 seconds.
Yeah, just to make sure that I wouldn't forget it.
But we have so much other stuff in our head.
Yeah, you don't need to watch us do this, but we're definitely keeping this in.
So another one I'm going to choose. Misery. Yeah.
Lump hammer to the legs, Misery. Or
God.
Sledgehammer. Like even people who haven't seen Misery know Misery.
It's a Stephen King book. It's like,
what you can't see off screen is Paul's hands are physically cramping up thinking about this.
It's just that scene where she just decides to break his leg again.
Yeah.
Oh,
go for it.
The choice for this one is because Jigsaw is kind of like, gore horror. Woman in Black is more ghosty horror. This is more kind of like more of a psychological horror of like a person who is insane kind of thing. It's more the tension between this character and what you can see. It's like I guess, would it be like what is it? View from a rear window?
A rear window.
Yeah.
The Hitchcock. It has some Hitchcockian overtones.
Yeah, like it's tense and stuff, and it's about a character who's trapped in one place and his interactions with this other person.
I think it wasn't Brenda Fricker. It was Kathy Bates. Sorry, Brenda Fricker. I don't know why your name came into my head there. Kathy Bates, who is always incredible, always incredible. But I think that was just a career-defining performance. Like when people see her, they do tend to think of end of the bed with a weird, crazed smile. Yeah, it's awesome. If you haven't seen it, definitely see it. If you have, go back and watch it again. I get something new every time I see it, and it's usually just more and more. Run! She's coming back! She's coming back! Just get back to the bed. It's a wonderfully tense film.
Yeah, it's just a hammer to the. Yeah, you'll see us if you'll just.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous scenes in film history.
Yeah, it is actually.
Which weird that you mentioned Hitchcock, because that is Stephen King's shower scene from Psycho. Like, as in Hitchcock's Psycho shower scene, that is for Stephen King. The hammer legs. It's the one that everybody universally, whether or not you're a fan, you know about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in my last choice because I only picked 3. Paul had a list the length of his arm because he's the horror buff. This one, again, weak sauce, I know, but Drag Me to Hell. Drag Me to Hell is Sam Raimi, who from Evil Dead and all this goodness, and Spider-Man. Sam Raimi, an amazing director. When I saw that he was doing a horror movie for proper decent budget, doing a cinema release, I was like, have to go and see that. Yeah. Went to see it, came out of the cinema jumping up and down, go, that was great, that was the best thing ever. And every time I watch it, it does the same thing to me. I don't know how anybody can make horror and being scared and tense so much fun, and almost so joyous. And its ending is pure joy. Should I spoil? Maybe I shouldn't. No, I won't spoil. But let's just say its ending, you don't necessarily see it coming, but you kind of do. And it's still worth it. The way it's executed, you're like, God, that's just the way this film had to end. It's great. So Drag Me to Hell, that would nearly be my number 1 pick.
Yeah, no, it's a very fun film, very fun horror film and stuff like that. So it's very nice.
Yeah, and Justin Long is in the prime of his just nice guy boyfriend career. He got typecast before it, and I think that film solidified his typecasting forever because he was great. Like, he is great in that. Sorry, some people are just born to be like that. Justin, you're that guy.
Typecast as a boyfriend.
Yeah, tough life.
Let me see. I'm gonna go for one that is probably. I have a list here.
Yeah, we'll throw in as many as you want.
I will give you I'll give you a lot of honorary mentions kind of thing. But I'm gonna go for Climax. I can't remember the director's name. It's on Netflix as well in Europe. It is a. This is probably the most. This is probably the most brutal horror film that I'll probably or horror-esque kind of film that I'll probably have on my list for now. It is, as it's described to Patrick, it is 30 minutes of you going, oh, it's a bunch of friends having a party. It's a bunch of friends kind of having, drinks and stuff. Oh, it's a bunch of friends on acid. Oh, they're not friends anymore. I want to turn this off. When is the climax of this film?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. And then it finishes.
So climax by name, climax by nature, and all sorts of things there.
Yeah, you're waiting for the ending.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I still haven't seen it, and I'm probably not going to see it. But it's relatively famous in cinema circles outside of horror, just because it's so extreme and out there in places.
Yeah.
I take it there's a graphic nature to it.
There's a little graphic nature to it, but it's essentially just it. As you were saying from Mother, from when we were talking about it.
Unsettling.
It continues on the unsettling path and then starts hitting you harder and harder and faster quite quickly on. So like, it's like once it goes down the hill, it's like it goes down there for a long time and continuously hits you with rocks on the way down. So like it's a very kind of brutal film and to watch. Yeah.
I'm not going to see that. So if anybody else wants to watch it for me and just give us a review in the comments below, I'm still probably not going to watch it, but I hope you all enjoy it, and I think he's a bit sick. Ooh. Now, do you want to throw in a few more? Because I know there's one that we're not getting out of here without you saying, and I think you're going to have to say it last.
I'll give you The Cube, which is a nice kind of, as Patrick actually explained to me, or quickly told me, it's essentially an escape room. Before that film Escape Room came out, way before, because I think it's
probably 14 years old now. Film.
I think it was in the 90s.
Oh God!
Like
shit, I'm getting old.
Awaiting for Further Instructions. That is a very good film. I think you would actually like that film.
That one I'm going to check out.
Which goes The Ritual, which is also a very nice film. It's about a bunch of friends who get one of them gets injured and they go into a forest and then fucking shit happens.
Don't go into forests, people.
No.
All right? Leave it to the bears.
And an Impossible, which came out last year, I believe, or 2 years ago.
Okay, I don't know it.
It's a Netflix original film.
Oh.
So it should be on all the things. It's essentially a weird cult captures and holds a girl ransom, and her brother goes to the island, and crazy shit ensues.
Ew. Okay.
So it's a good film.
Okay.
The ending's a bit weird and stuff like that, but it's a interesting. I would say it's along this thing of like Midsummer.
Okay, which really did actually tickle my curiosity button. So, I'm looking at Paul because actually I'll tell you what. I'm going to let Paul end, but first I'm going to throw in something that myself and my wife do every Halloween. Is we actually tend to watch a John Carpenter classic, because I grew up on things like The Fog again. Very, very formative for my young years, just because I probably shouldn't have watched it at the age I was. But it had the reverse effect of Salems Lot. I actually wanted to watch more films like it afterwards. It didn't scar me for life. So every year we tend to rewatch an old classic John Carpenter film. I don't know what this Halloween's is going to be, because last year I think we did redo The Fog. It was that again.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. We might do
Vampire.
Yeah, I was. You know what? Funny you should mention it. That was what I was thinking.
James Wood.
Yeah, looking badass before he went completely James Woods on us all. I'm dying to get to it. So Paul, I'm going to give you the rest of the video to talk about the last one and then sign us out.
Well, of course, I say it every time I'm on. Well, not every time, but a lot of times when I'm on this thing. It is Event Horizon. It is my favorite horror film It is my favorite horror film, closely to my favorite film, probably.
It's your favorite romantic comedy at this stage.
Yeah.
You have given it as an answer to everything. Sorry to interject. Please continue.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. It is a romantic comedy. It's a romantic comedy between Sam Neill and the ship. And their kooky relationship.
And the way they get along is removing each other's skin.
It's a thriller because it's a detective show. Them trying to figure it. I'm not going to go through all this. It's a crime show because of murder.
Oh, there's definitely crime.
It's a great horror film. It doesn't. I don't think it gets the amount of attention and prestige that people should give us. But yeah, the other thing, I'm not going to go on about Event Horizon because I could just fill out an entire video of it. The thing is that also because it is Halloween, or the month of Halloween, Netflix have essentially added a new section to their films and series thing, which is just called Halloween, which has some great movies and a lot of what we said on the list. So.
Cool, good job, Netflix. Dun. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy that October. Don't say Spooktober, please. I'm really happy that October is horror month and that Paul loves horror, because I am now deciding that April next year is car month. And it's going to be Cannonball Run wall to wall, everybody.
Event Horizon.
I think I probably will watch actually Event Horizon. I'll break the Carpenter tradition.
No, watch Vampire.
I'll do both, because I think, out of respect to my co-host, and you should all do it as well, let's have a nice big Halloween Event Horizon watch along.
You can make an event out of it. On the horizon.
Well, it is coming up. Would you like to end the video, Paul?
So thanks for watching. Which goes, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Which goes, comment some of your favorite horror films or horror series. I don't know why I said it like that. Which goes, yeah. I've been Paul,
and I've been Patrick,
and we've been here at So thanks very much.
Bye. You really got me when you said it. I don't know why I said it like that. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna burst.